Good day and welcome to CIS 217. I'm Dan Gilmet and I will be your instructor for this summer 8-week session. What are we going to be doing in this class? Well, one of the big things that we're going to be doing is learning Visual Studio 2008. Not 2005, and we will be going to 2010 for the game, folks in here for the game design degree. We will be going to 2010 starting in the fall, but for this course we are still going to use 2008 like it's been used for the last year, actually last 2 years. The other thing besides learning how to use that particular tool is we're going to learn proper programming techniques. That's really, really important. How are we going to do it? Well, it's going to be a combination of lecture, discussion, and hands-on, both in the classroom and on web study, because this actually is a blended class. You'll notice we only meet for 2.5 hours twice a week. If it was not blended, we'd be meeting for 5 hours twice a week. Some of you probably would feel better about that. Now, what do we expect, or what do I expect from you? Well, the L word. You're going to have to sit there and learn. That's just one of those things. We're going to learn, but we're going to have some fun too, hopefully. Okay. Once you get at least a little bit excited about programming Visual C#. C# is a object-oriented programming language that is very, very powerful, yet very easy to do some pretty neat things, as you'll discover. Okay. We are going to learn more about object-oriented programming, although most of that will take place in one of the follow-on classes, CIS 224, our game programming class. Now, for those who have not heard this before, MSDNAA, Microsoft Developers Network Academic Alliance, this is a program the college has where they pay money to Microsoft and you can sign out Visual Studio Professional for one, Windows 7, Windows Server 2008, most of the Windows operating systems, or at least some of them I should say. For instance, only Windows 7 Professional is available for the different versions of Windows 7. I believe Visio is there as well. Sorry, no Office. Okay, you'll have to do that on your own. Okay, now I want to talk about the procedure sheet now. So let me bring up my procedure sheet here. Okay, so here's our procedure sheet. Biggest thing to remember first off is email address. Please make sure that you send it to my college email address, not Hotmail, not Yahoo, not Gmail, or any of the other email addresses I may have. If you haven't received a response from me within 24 to 36 hours, you probably sent it to the wrong one, or for some reason I did not get it. So send it again. So please be aware of that. Also, office hours. This is summer. We do not hold specific office hours. I tend to be in a good part of each day, but I have other classes and meetings. So if you really want to come by and see me, the best thing to do is send me an email. We'll set up an appointment so that you know I'm going to be here and not off doing something else. Okay. Now, to do well in this class, what you have to do is, well, actually show up, and show up on time, and show up prepared. Okay. Having read the chapter that we're going to cover ahead of time. The assumption is going to be is that you've read it. We're going to focus on the high points. We're going to focus on if you have any questions, and then we're going to add to it so you learn more than just going through the book. Okay. Make sure you turn your work in on time and make sure it's complete. Easiest way to lose points is, oh yeah, there was a homework assignment due last week. Too bad. Okay. Don't be afraid to ask questions in class. You're not the only one. And biggest thing is remember, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Okay. One of the things that we really need to be careful of is that it's just like a paper. If you do it at the last minute, it's going to look like you did at the last minute. Programming is actually the same way. You can see if somebody threw code together at the last minute. Okay, we don't want you to be doing that. You will see that being graded, you're going to have 5 graded programs you're going to turn. These are individual efforts. And a little bit we'll talk about. You'll already know what all 5 graded programmings are right from the beginning of the semester. You're going to have a final project that you're going to design your own final project. I'm going to give you some particular requirements, and then you're going to have to do that. Okay? You've got 5 quizzes you're going to have to take: combination, true, false, multiple choice, some short answer. These are going to be, actually that is a mistake. It should be open book, open notes, because of the fact that you will be doing these outside of class. So when a quiz is due, it is due prior to the beginning of class that day. Okay, so please remember that the quizzes will be open book and open notes. I missed that. we will have a midterm and final exams. Our exams are 2 parts. The first part is similar to the quizzes. Okay, it will be open book, open notes, and it's closed neighbor though. And you're going to have those done prior to, prior to coming into the class for the part 2 of the exam. This will be what we call, instead of write for your life, it is code for your life. You will have to sit there and create a program based on something you'll be handed in class, and typically you'll be given 2 to 2.5 hours to do that. Okay, that's all that will happen on those days. Make sure when you come to class you bring in your notes and you bring in your book, because those are available references for you. There is also a class participation grade. It should be the easiest. I believe it's 50 points for this class so that you get this semester. Be courteous to each other. Don't sit there and talk in class while other people are talking. Don't answer your cell phone. You know the golden rule. Just be nice to your neighbor. Also, because this is partially blended, we're going to have weekly discussion forums. Okay, maximum of 10 points for each forum, and you get from 0 to 4 points for any particular item. One of the big things to remember is you have to make your first post by Thursday of a particular week, and you have to have your first reply to somebody by Saturday. Now, if you look at the 10 points, what it means is you're going to have to average 3 to 4 posts per week, probably more in the 4. Most posts are going to get 3 points. As you can see here, some will get 2, 1, and 0. A few, not very common, will get 4. Okay, so if you're putting very short comments, you may need to put 5 or 6 comments in there to be able to get all 10 points. Okay. Now, here's what I was talking about before, as are the different points that you have. Take a look at our midterm and final exams together are like 35% of the course, but all your projects are worth 30%. Your quizzes are worth 10%. Your posts and participation, there's a 10% combined. So you can see it's sort of spread out, but the exams are some of the most important stuff, along with your photo project. Okay. Now, when we grade them, we're going to be grading them based on, did you actually complete the project? You know, is it running? Does it have all the parts? Did you structure it properly based on the concepts we'll talk about in class? Does it have the proper logical flow, or did you write it in such a way, well, yeah, it works, but it's just not very good under the hood, so to speak. And did you put the appropriate amount of comments? Okay, for most of us, we want to put a few comments in there, and we're going to talk about that during the course. Okay, now, what you all probably wanted to see is the schedule. You can see we have this set up in 4 columns: the session, the date, what we're planning to do that day, and what is due prior to class that week. So you can see for June 6th, you've got to complete quiz 1 and forum 1. Yes, they are both up there right now. Okay. Right now, everything here is due at the beginning of class. Okay, for those particular days. Now, let's talk about Web Study. We're going to be using Web Study, and most of you probably already have looked at it. You can get to it from the college portal, or just go straight to coaches.webstudy.com. Some of the key things are going to be the timeline, the forums, and the quizzes. Just remember they're due before the next face-to-face part of the class. And we're going to quickly take a look at Web Study. Okay. When you first log in, this is what you're going to see, and you're going to pick the course. In this case, it's CIS 217. And what you can see now is there's some information right at the beginning. I've put a lot of information in there since I'm not there the first day of class. But your key tab is going to be the timeline. Here, there's an administrivia section that has things like the procedure sheet, what all your projects are, a water cooler form for anything you want to, maybe you have a question, maybe just you want to chit chat with your classmates outside of class. Water cooler is where you can do that. Water cooler is ungraded. Okay. And now you notice for our the slides we're going over right now are located here, as well as a practice quiz. So you should go in there and take the practice quiz. That information, you should have already taken it, matter of fact, on the first day when the person who's subbing for me that first day is giving it to you. Then you can see you have quiz 1 and forum 1 that are due. I put the links on the day they are due, so don't be surprised by them. And you can see project 1 is already there. Okay. We also have our tests, although you normally will get to your test through the timeline, but some students like to just get to it from here. This will be your grades. Now obviously I have no grades in here, but this is where the grades will be kept up to date. These will be accurate. And of course this is where you can see the forums, and I will list the forums with when the final due date, but remember there's a Thursday, Saturday day in there as we talked about before. Now, the one thing I do want to talk about is your assignments. And what you were also handed out, and is also on Web Study, is all the projects for this semester. You will see that we have our 5 projects, and then we have our final project. Now on each of these projects, it's one of the assignments in the book. You're going to have to zip the entire solution folder, and we'll talk about that on June 6th, the first day I'll actually be in class with you. Okay. Now, and I just saw a typo. It is June 15th, not June 14th. So you can take a look at the schedule. Notice here there's some extra credit, starting with project 2. This one is possible 50 points. This one is a possible 55. Now you can only submit one assignment. Okay, so you can't submit both and let me choose the best one. And the expectations are a bit higher for this one. You're getting an extra 10%. Okay. So for instance, in some cases they're different, like in project 2. In project 3, the extra credit is an extension of the basic project. So when that happens, you should do the basic project, then you can sit there and try to do the more advanced project. When you look at the final project, you will see that by July 6th, you've sort of got to give me an idea of what you're going to do. There's no particular format for this, but what I want to see is, okay, what are you planning to do? How is it going to incorporate the minimum requirements you see down in this section? And I want to make sure you don't bite off too much to handle during the time you've got. Okay, or that maybe you're forgetting something. Gives me a chance to give you some feedback while you still got time. Okay, because it is due July 20th, so that's about 2 weeks. Well, hopefully this quick introduction, I know it was quick, will help you get going since I wasn't able to be there for the first day. Again, welcome to the class, and I will see you all on June 6th, which is our first day.